It's the second best phrase in playoff baseball, and that is we have a game 3. I say second best because it's no game 6, but still, it's a win or go home for these two coaches. The winner moves on to the Skyway League Championship Series. It's the Minnesota Lumberlobos versus the mortal Wombats, two of the best team names and the best logos in all of rBBL, and the designer of swing science is looking to try to get as far in the playoffs as possible. We should have a very entertaining matchup here today. Definitely a more defensive matchup is what I am expecting, as the Wombats won the Skyway AI Defense Award, and the Lumberlobos, which were nominated for the AI Defense Award, have one of the two golden Goldie Gloves in Alex Rodriguez, who is up at the plate here for the Lumberlobos on the user side and grounds out. So I was talking up his defense, but not really his offense, as there's 2 pitches and 1 out for the user Lumberlobos. The user Steamroll Mortal Wombats are done setting up their lineup and their defensive positions. Hello, Moltrick. Welcome. I know you're very, very anxiously watching this one, as Moltrick's freelance policeman will play the winner of this game 3. Will it be either the Lumberlobos or the Wombats? And there's Pickle Boom, who we delayed our stream 30 minutes for. Glad you were able to make it, Pickle. We totally did that all for you. We were delayed 30 minutes only because of you. There was no other reason why it took us 30 minutes. As Pamela Kirkos gets a good drive into this one, but right at the left fielder. And so 2 quick outs here for the Lumberlobos, and that brings up Ken Griffey Jr., the best offensive player on this team during the regular season, but with the bases empty, as Laura Nunez is going to drop that line drive from AI Alex Rodriguez. So AI Alex Rodriguez able to get on. User Alex Rodriguez was not. So right now the AI Lumberlobos out hitting the user Lumberlobos, as Ken Griffey Jr. has not really gotten a pitch to hit yet, and he's swinging grounder with only 1 strike. Base is empty. Guess you're just trying to get some runners on. And he does get the grounder away, and it's going to pull Lance Lambert off of first base. And, oh my goodness, it was a rocket throw from Lance, but Whitney Singh was covering and not able to handle that throw. And so Ken Griffey Jr. is on. That brings up Timmy Unger, as there's a little bit of a lag spike. Oh, now there's a lag spike in both of my videos. And this is the actual reason why I was a little bit late, and I thought that my Wi-Fi was going to cooperate. Let's see. We should be back. We should be okay. Possibly. Or maybe not. Google Fiber, by the way. Hi, it's back. Yeah, it came back for a second, and now it's coming in and out. I'm going to blame the heat wave. I think it's the heat wave. All right, they should both be back working here now. They should be good. Give it a second. And if not, refresh. But we should be back. Don't worry. Oh, I'm not in Tampa. I don't live in Tampa anymore. That's just where I'm from. I'm in very, very hot Tennessee now. And it's still going in and out. Google Fiber, by the way. I didn't download the video files. Well, I downloaded them, and then I put them into this presentation. This is a Canva presentation that I use when I have these videos like this. I don't download the videos and then set up a overlay in OBS or anything like that. Oh my goodness. Now it's going absolutely crazy. What in the world? Don't worry, you're not missing anything. Well, that's not true, actually. You are missing something. The AI Lumberlobos scored 2 runs. So you did miss that, but you haven't missed any user runs. Although 2 AI runs for the Lumberlobos is definitely... All right, yeah, now I think we're good. Here's fingers crossed. I think it's the heat, I'm going to be honest. Because I have Google Fiber, and I never really have internet issues, and I have a modem extender right next to my desk. So I actually think it's like the heat doing something. But I don't know. I guess it wouldn't do anything to Google Fiber, but who knows? Either way, I think we're back. I think we're okay. And yes, the AI Minnesota Lumberlobos, as Whitney Singh is tagged out and Sarah Maxwell will take over her place as the user Wombats are up to bat. The user Lumberlobos are up to bat again already in the top of the second. They still have not scored any runs in that game. But yeah, the AI Lumberlobos get 2 runs. And I mean, this is a defense that gave up single digits to the AI all season in 14 games. And 2 runs in the top of the first inning. So they are down -2-0. Always the Heat's fault. Exactly. Yeah, it's... As Zenon Estrada is going to pop this one up. Sarah Maxwell is going to be able to get back to first in plenty of time. So Zenon had a chance there to possibly get it back to a +0, but pops it up to the first base. To first base. As Sonia Hagen now steps up with 2 outs and Sarah Maxwell on first as Trent Sizemore hits a ground ball. And will he be able to beat out the throw? Yes, he will as Lance Lambert drops it. A second Lance Lambert drop already. Very, very good at offense. Defensively, not quite so good. Although he was I was going to say Cy Young, but he was a not Clanky. That's BBOL. He was now I'm blanking. What is it called again for this? The Ace Wilson. That's right, the Ace Wilson. Lance Lambert was an Ace Wilson finalist for the Skyway on the user side. And it has been a rough inning so far for the Wombats. They let up 2 runs and were not able to get anything going with the top of their lineup. But still plenty of baseball left to be played in this one. It is early yet. We've seen plenty of comebacks here in the last week or so on the Backyard Sports Center. Thinking about Will F. the Gods, Major Monopolies were able to stage a comeback in Game 1. Exactly, and there's our very own Alex7456 in the chat. Backyard Sports Center's very own. Anything can happen. Alex knows about. I was just about to say, we just saw the Major Monopoly stage a comeback. We just saw Alex's Mid-County Moose last week stage a thrilling 6-inning comeback, spurred on by Pablo Sanchez, the GOAT. And it usually does. Exactly. Anything can happen, and it usually does. Was that Sonny, or is that Vinny that says that? No, that's Chuck Downfield, I think. Chuck Downfield, I think, says that. As it looks like the Mortal Wombats are going to get out of the top of the second inning much easier than the top of the first, and they are back up to bat. Chuck Downfield, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Thank you, Pickle. Thank you. This is why I waited so long, so that you could be in the chat, so you could help me out with stuff like that. Appreciate it. As Vic Souffle is not able to get on. So Lance Lambert is up with the bases empty here. Still swinging for power and pops it up on the very first pitch. So the Wombats, who are not necessarily an explosive offensive team, they never scored more than 11 runs the entire season, or in either of the first 2 playoff games, as they had a bye in the first round. But they also have a very solid floor. They only scored less than 7 once during the regular season. So they were very, very, very consistent. Probably the most consistent team in the entire 2002 league. So you do expect them to put up some runs here. as Alex Rodriguez is going to ground this ball to the third baseman and easily beat it out. So Minnesota Lumberlobos looking for their first user run in the top of the third already for them. As Brett Olson strikes out and the Wombats are done. So both teams already into the top of the third inning. And here is this a fly ball. Is it going to drop? No. Pamela Kirkos not able to get that one to fall. So now it's 2 outs, and here comes Ken Griffey Jr. again, this time with a runner on, so he'll be swinging for power. Takes a strike on the inside corner. Alex Rodriguez hit and run was on, not able to turn it off. So he's got to go back, and no steal attempts allowed anymore until he gets to the next base. And that looks like a good pitch, but it's fouled back, maybe a little high. So maybe not the worst thing in the world that was a foul ball. So now it's 2 strikes, sticking with power. And that is Pete's video quality. That's not my internet. That is the video quality that I received, which he did mention. And there is Ken Griffey Jr. And did he get a hold of this one? Yes, he did. Absolutely. Forget about it. Ken Griffey Jr., 2-run shot to Steel Stadium center field. And the Lumberlobos, they're up 2-0 in both games. User Lumberlobos up 2-0. AI Lumberlobos up 2-0. Such a fun name to say as well, the Lumberlobos. And I think it's such a simple but great logo, because I love that old Minnesota Timberwolves logo. Wilf versus Pete quality, who wins? I still think Pete's quality here is better. Like, I can still read the names for the most part, you know, and like the gameplay, you can still see everything in the gameplay pretty easily. Wilf on that 180p, it's tough, especially when Wilf would had a couple of times Wilf was on the Backyard Sports Center for the Backyard Football League, and that's a very tough game to have low quality. A lot going on there in the online Backyard Football League. So I'd give the edge to Pete. Wombats are up here in the bottom of the third. Scary Gary Allen up for the first time today. Definitely would like to have him up sooner than the third inning, and that's why, because that is a deep drive to right field over the dump truck. And the Wombats are on the board. They are back to a +0 thanks to a Scary Gary Allen 2-run shot. So 2 2-run home runs here in quick succession for both teams. And like we said, a lot of baseball left to be played. And maybe that is what the Wombats needed to spur them on. Right as I say that, Whitney Singh lines out to first base. So here comes Sarah Maxwell, the Barry Bonds clone, with the bases empty. Nomar Garcia Parra is going to ground to this one to the right side, picked up by Lance Lambert, and easily steps on first and plenty of time. As Zenon Estrada gets a hold of this one, I think that's got enough. Absolutely it does. My goodness. 2 home runs in the inning, and just like that, we've got a 1-run ball game. Zenon Estrada, forget about it. Solo shot, 366, bounced over the pool into the neighbor's yard as Raquel Cullen hits a soft line drive that falls right in front of Scary Gary and able to get Raquel out. So now there's 2 outs for both teams here. Lumberlobos already in the 4th inning. Sonia Hagen is going to foul that one back. That was a good pitch. And this is close. This is very close. A 1-run game currently. And as I mentioned, as we expected, as there's a strikeout from Sonia Hagen, so both teams into the top of the 4th now. AI Ken Griffey Jr. already 1 2-run home run today on both the AI and the user side, as Trent Sizemore is able to hit a little swinging bunt and get on. Yeah, only does it with no one on base. You would have loved Zenon to have runners on base there, but a lot of solo shots for Zenon Estrada in all leagues. But as I was saying, it's you definitely expected a somewhat low-scoring affair. given the fact the game is at Steel Stadium, already a defensive leaning field, although it was middle of the pack statistics wise in terms of scoring. And given the fact neither of these teams are very explosive. I already mentioned how Steamroll, a very solid floor, but not very explosive, very consistently will score between 7 and 11 runs. The Lumberlobos had not scored double digits until games 2 and 3 of the first round of the playoffs. And they lost game 1, and with their backs against their wall for the first time all season, put up double digits in back-to-back games to get here, to even get to the divisional series. Did not score double digits in either of their first 2 games, as there's our first power-up swing. It's a 2-out undergrounder from Tiffany Bosworth. That's going to bring home Trent Sizemore, I believe it should, as Zenon Estrada runs away from the ball. So Trent scores easily. Where's the cement fields? That's a good question. I can't remember. I think they were in the middle with Steel Stadium. I can't remember if they were above or below, but it certainly wasn't, one of the most defensive fields, but it definitely wasn't the most offensive. So it was somewhere in the middle. I just can't remember where exactly. I'll have to contact our resident statistician, Diskey, who came up with a lot of those statistics, came up with score plus and some field ratings as, my goodness, was that a home run? I just missed it. And Alex Rodriguez, 3-run home run to right field. The Lumberlobos, 4 runs with 2 outs here in the 4th inning. And it bounced back a 201-foot shot. My goodness, out of nothing, the Lumberlobos jump out ahead. They now lead by 5 here in the 4th inning. Both teams batting in the 4th inning as, again, AI Lance Lambert drops that throw, allowing the inning to be extended. And here comes Ken Griffey Jr., already 1 2-run home run today for the user Lumberlobos, and already a 2-run home run for the AI Lumberlobos. Does he have another one in him? He is swinging for power, that's for sure. Going to take that ball inside. Wombats, Brett Olson up with the bases empty. And hits a little ground ball, but right to Alex Rodriguez, and not able to beat that one out, as Ken Griffey Jr. fouls that one away. So Wombats only going to have 2 more chances here, and now they're down big, as there's a shot by Ken Griffey Jr., not deep enough to get over the fence, and a diving catch by Raquel Cullen in right field, looking the wrong way, but able to make the catch. So finally, the Lumberlobos are retired, but 4 runs with 2 outs there in the top of the 4th have extended their lead, as Raquel Cullen hits a soft line drive, falls right in front of Laura Nunez, who steps on first for an easy out. So both teams are on defense, facing the AI offenses now. Lumberlobos opened up a lead here now. They're sitting at a +6. Wombats at a +1 with 2 runs against. That's gotta be, I don't know off the top of my head, I have to double check, but I would venture to guess that's the most amount of runs they've allowed in a single game. I don't think they allowed more than 1 at any point. Or it at least ties it, if it's not the most amount of runs. As AI Zenon Estrada strikes out, and so the Lumberlobos will be back up to bat here in the top of the 5th. As the Wombats are now back up to bat, so both user teams are now batting. As Laura Nunez fouls it off, and Timmy Younger hits a soft pop-up that is handled by Lance Lambert, who's now on the mound. Probably a good thing for the AI Wombats, as AI Lance Lambert had 3 drops at first base. And Nomar Garcia-Parra, first pitch swinging, pops it up. And waiting is the left fielder Sarah Maxwell, able to make the catch. So already 2 quick outs here for the Lumberlobos in the top of the 5th. you're feeling pretty good about it right now with a 5-run lead, and there's another quick out, so a very, very quick top of the 5th. So still sitting on a +6. But as I mentioned, the Wombats, a fairly consistent scoring team, as that is knocked down by AI Alex Rodriguez, but not caught. So scary Gary Allen is able to get on first. But now you do kind of risk a double play, and Steamroll must have been thinking the same thing that I did, because with Scary Gary at first and Whitney sitting up at the plate, with only 1 out and 1 on, they're going to use an undergrounder to avoid a double play, and that's going to be a ground rule double. So now you've got runners at second and third. You avoid the double play. Not exactly how you want to use the power-up, but as Sarah Maxwell, is she going to be able to beat out the throw? Yes, she is. So the Wombats are cooking something here. Bases loaded, 1 out. And Zenon Estrada up at the plate. We saw a big grand slam from Fred Benson a couple days ago, right on this stream. Does Zenon Estrada have one? And this is a high pop fly, but it's going to be well too short. Runners are going to have to go back. And Zenon Estrada swinging at the first pitch. That, I don't want to say that's probably the ball game, as there's still a whole 6th inning to play, but you still have Lance Lambert coming up in a couple of batters as Sonia Hagen gets a hold of this one, but well foul. But that was certainly an at-bat you had to have, it feels like, given how late in the game we are. And switching to screaming line drive, and they get it off, and it's right to the deepest part of the park. Unfortunate Ken Griffey Jr., AI Ken Griffey Jr. was right there on the shift. That's still going to allow 2 runs to score. Sarah Maxwell moves over to third base. Sonia Hagen stays at first. And don't worry, Pickle Beam, he heard you. He heard you. And so 2 runs score, and so now Steamroll has cut the lead. +6 to +3, but still needs, unknowingly, 4 more runs. I say unknowingly because this was recorded. Pete played 2 days ago, and Steamroll played last night. This is not a live simul stream. So unknowingly, needing 3 more runs. As Vic Souffle is just going to get over the first baseman. It is not a backwards over-the-shoulder catch. And the Wombats have to settle for 2. And they've used both of their power-ups. And so it's going to come down to the 6th inning. And they've got to hope the Lumberlobos don't add to their lead here in the top of the 6th. Already 1 out for the user Lumberlobos. Tiffany Bosworth up at the plate. They still have a screaming line drive. They can still, if they can get a runner or 2 on, they can pad their lead. As here's a ground ball, and don't know if Tiffany Bosworth will be able to beat that out. She will not. So 2 quick outs here, and bases empty, 2 outs. Going to use that screaming line drive. Trying to extend the inning here with Nancy Chin. And also to the deepest part of the park. But again, defense was already shifted over. So it's just going to be a single for Nancy Chin, but it keeps the inning alive. Both coaches having to use their power-ups. Probably not in the situations they want. But we'll see if it pays off here. Alex Rodriguez up at the plate for the user Lumberlobos. Already 1 home run today. A 3-run shot to right field. And swinging for power again. Swings and misses at that high hook on the outside edge. Yeah, Chintastic. What a Chintastic use of the screaming line drive. I love me some Nancy Chin. Junior League Clanky Award winner, by the way. As the AI Lumberlobos are up in the top of the 6th. And here's a juicy pitch, and it's a good swing from Alex Rodriguez. It's not going to be enough to get over the fence, but it's going to knock the right fielder Laura Nunez down. Or maybe that's Whitney Singh, I can't tell. Same character design. Nancy Chin's going to attempt to go home. It's picked up by Scary Gary Allen, and not in time. And either way, it's dropped by Vic Souffle. Alex Rodriguez, thinking about going to third, goes back to second. That was a good eye by Pete7863. So the Lumberlobos do get another insurance run. They now have a +7. And they still have not allowed a run. So a 4-run lead with tiebreakers for the Lumberlobos here in the 6th inning. But we've seen larger leads lost just these past few weeks. As AI Ken Griffey Jr. is going to strike out, no 2 AI home runs. And Pamela Kirkos, absolutely forget about it. That's going to be over the pool. No, into the pool. A Steel Stadium pool shot for Pamela Kirkos. And that might be the dagger for the Minnesota Lumberlobos. They now sit at a +9 as Lance Lambert for the Wombats leadoff pool shot, back-to-back pool shots for both teams here to lead off the 6th inning. So the Wombats not done yet. They still have work to do. Is Nomar chasing perfection? I hadn't even caught that. Do you have a perfect game going? I didn't even notice. But what a time to have a perfect game on defense in a Game 3. The Minnesota Lumberlobos already with a clutch Game 3 performance last series after losing Game 1. And it looks like they're well on their way to a clutch Game 3 performance in the next round. But won't count our chickens before they hatch. The Wombats are still batting here in the bottom of the 6th. But they need help. They need at least 6 runs. If they score 5 and end with a +9, they would lose on runs against tiebreaker. Assuming the Lumberlobos don't give up any runs in the bottom of the 6th. And it looks like the Lumberlobos are going to end with a +9 at best. They still have to play defense here in the bottom of the 6th. And the screen moves so quick, I didn't see the scoreboard. I didn't see if there was no hits allowed for the AI Wombats. But I'll take your word for it. Nomar Garcia-Parra working on a perfect game. Wombats down to their final 2 outs. They need to find 5 runs, as that was a good swing from Laura Nunez, but foul ball, well foul to the left. So now it's a full count, 3-2. The payoff pitch from AI Raquel Cullen. And it's a swinging bunt right in front of the pitcher. It's going to be picked up by Alex Rodriguez. And the Wombats are down to their final out. Unless their AI offense is able to come up with a few runs here, they would need 5 at least if they don't score any more. But Scary Gary Allen might have something to say about that. Already 1 home run today. Oh no. Steamroll's video stopped. I think Steamroll cut it off there. I don't think Scary Gary Allen did anything. I think the Wombats ended with a +6. And I think, is Scary Gary up in both and they both ended at the same time? I think they did. I think Scary Gary got out in both games to end it, and I think it is official. The Minnesota Lumberlobos, with another gutsy Game 3 performance, they are moving on to the Skyway League Championship Series to face Moltrix Freelance Policemen. It looks like the creator of Swing Science has been using their own mod, as their offense has exploded here in the playoffs. A couple of double-digit performances in round 1, a +9 at Steel Stadium in a must-win Game 3, and they are moving on. Congratulations, Pete7863. It was a hard-fought series. GG's to Steamroll as well. I don't think he's in the chat. He told me he was not going to watch, and he just wanted to know if he won or not afterwards. But that is gonna do it here today on the Backyard Sports Center. Don't worry, though. We'll be possibly live late tonight with some more Super Colossal Cereal Bowl action. Talking with both of those coaches, we might have some more Backyard Football Online League action late tonight, but that'll at least do it for rBBL today, Backyard Baseball. But we got plenty of action. We're right in the thick of things in the playoffs. We'll certainly try to have some Boltrick versus Minnesota Lumberlobos action here on the Backyard Sports Center. I didn't even notice Nomar was pitching a perfect game. To be fair, though, I don't pay attention much to the AI defenses all that much. I'll more so focus on which coach is batting, like user batting. But what a time for a Nomar Garcia-Parra perfect game in a winner-go-home Game 3. And you still ended up, scoring 3 more runs, but those 2 runs against for Steamroll, they definitely mattered there as they were chasing the game. But thank you for tuning in, hanging out. We so appreciate you here on the Backyard Sports Center. Until next time, baseball fans, this is Ben Bath Beyond signing off, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.